Hello and welcome to 12th episode of Filter Coffee with Quantace. I'm your host Shubhada Patil, speaking on behalf of Karthick Jongadla, a SEBI-registered research analyst. Before we dive into today's topic, please note that this episode is purely for informational purposes and does not constitute any buy or sell recommendation. Now let's bring some fresh insights together. Back in episode 11, we picked the FI long positioning at about 90 to 95k crore and were bullish on Nifty, expecting it to reach 25,000 levels. Despite the unfavorable sentiment on capital gains from the budget, the market shrugged it off and closed at an all-time high of 24,834. This indicates that participants are looking to move on and engage in India's long-term growth story. We believe that Nifty should reach 25,000 levels by the end of July. Currently, FI long positions are peaked at approximately 32,500 crore. The Nifty's microstructure from the option chain indicates immediate support at 24,700 to 24,500. Nifty needs to stay above these levels to maintain its bullish outlook with a secondary line of defense at 24,100 levels. However, a worrying trend has emerged recently. Retail investors have sold equity mutual funds worth 5,000 crore. It's important to note that DI combined with retail mutual fund SIPs have held the market. This trend is something to watch closely. On the positive side, FIs who have been sellers are now net buyers, along with DIs, who are net buyers to the tune of 8,888 crore. We'll reveal our sector and market cap preferences after we send the next month's rebalance updates. Moving to our next topic, how the RBI is supercharging India's data center boom. Imagine the Reserve Bank of India as an unexpected superhero in the world of technology. Sounds wacky? Well, it's true. The RBI's policies are driving a massive transformation in India's power and data center sectors. When the RBI issued directives to localize payment data, it set off a chain reaction. Suddenly, there was an urgent need for more data centers to store all this information right here in India. And the response? A booming market that's growing faster than you can say digitization. India, with its nearly 900 million internet users, is experiencing a data center explosion. Picture this, data center capacity is expected to increase 12-fold by 2030. That's right, 12-fold. According to a Jeffrey report, India's data center capacity is projected to rise from 1 to 1.15 gigawatt to 17 gigawatt by FY30, accounting for 15% of incremental demand by FY 24 to 30 estimated, along with global giants such as Amazon and Netflix. These companies are investing billions into building and expanding data centers across India. Investment announced in the last 36 to 48 months alone total US dollar 27 billion. In the stock market, this translates to significant growth opportunities for firms heavily involved in this sector. Siemens with 40 to 45% project cost exposure and ABB India with 20 to 25% are stepped up as key beneficiaries. Elanti, Voltas, and Blue Star, each with 15% exposure, are also in the game. Kia Industries began exporting power transmission cables to the USA and expects more orders. Transformers and Rectifiers India saw a 117% year on year rise in FY24. Exports sells and is expanding capacity with an export focused approach. Companies like Apar Industries, Volt, Amp, Transformers, GT&D, Hitachi Energy are well positioned to benefit from the rising demand, both domestically and internationally. Building the data centers isn't cheap. The cost is around US dollar 4 to 5 million per megawatt watt, with power expenses taking the largest slice at 30%. Automation, HVAC, and EPC each account for 15% of the capex, with power supply and backup being a significant focus for developers. Yet the return on investment is promising given the insatiable demand for digital services and the ongoing shift towards a digital economy. The RBI's move has triggers a domino effect, with data center capacity growing at over 50% annually. The demand for power is skyrocketing. Investment in power generation and transmission are set to rise 2.2 times to $280 billion in FY 24-30 estimated from FY 70 to 23. This growth is creating significant opportunities for companies involved in power supply, automation, HVAC, and EPC, not to mention the substantial export potential. Leading global center companies like NTT, AWS, Coal DCS, and Indian conglomerates Reliance and Adani Group have shown interest in setting up capacity in India. Occupants of these data centers include Amazon, Netflix, banks, and fintech companies. Investments announced in the last 36 to 48 months total $27 billion. India's power demand is projected to grow at a 7% CAGR over FY 23 to 30 estimated, with renewable energy capacity set to grow 2.5 times by FY 30 estimated. The country's data center capacity is expected to account for 15% of incremental demand in FY 24 to 30 estimated. Europe's data center capacity is more than 10 times that of India's at 10 gigawatt, but with an internet user base of 890 million. India's potential is massive. Indian companies are also discussing export opportunities apart from domestic market. KA Industries, Transformer, Rectifies India, and other Indian companies are indicating potential benefit from export orders for component product supply, showcasing India's expanding influence in the global market. This is where the global perspective comes in. According to the Jeffries report, the rise of AI could drive 10 to 20% annual growth in the global data center market over the next decade. This suggests a new era of electricity demand growth in major markets. The advent of data center GPU servers, which use 3 to 4 times the power of CPU servers, coupled with a rush from hyperscalers to train new AI models, has driven annual growth demand to 30 to 40% in recent years. Data centers, which were always expected to become a larger percentage of global power usage, are now on the verge of significant expansion. In the US and Europe, electricity demand has been flat or declining due to energy efficiency. However, many stakeholders now expect a return to growth 2 to 3% per annum, with data center potentially accounting for 20% of this incremental demand. This resurgence is likely to benefit uncontracted power plants, renewable developers, and transmission or grid utilities. The global demand for data center has led to rising rents and increased power consumption. For instance, data centers are anticipated to account for 20% of the projected increase in the European electricity demand by 2030. This indicates that data center could approximately 10% of power demand by 2033 in key European regions. The increased demand for power has also led to higher rents for data center space, which has risen by over 80% in the recent year. So there you have it. The RBI, with its regulatory superpowers, has not just shaped the financial landscape, but is now supercharging India's data center boom. Its dynamic tale of tech, power, and innovation, positioning India as a key player on the global stage. Keep an eye on the stocks and trends there where the action is. Thank you for tuning into the episode of Filter Off with Contest. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to follow us to stay updated on the latest market trends and insights. Until next time, happy investing.